Good evening, Rome. I'm Ryan Patterson, and I'm here to welcome you to Coliseum News Network's three-part series, What Destroyed the Roman Empire. There are many theories on the downfall of our empire, and today we will focus on three key factors: lead poisoning, economic problems, and Christianity. We'll start with Christianity. Christianity is a religion that stemmed from Judaism. After the so-called Messiah, a man named Jesus, passed away, his followers spread his teachings throughout the known world. Eventually, Christianity found its way into the Roman Empire, where it became our empire's main religion. The first problem with Christianity is the fact that it's a monotheistic religion. Our empire previously believed in polytheism, where we worshipped many gods. Monotheism is the practice of believing in just one deity. Christianity in particular calls for all its followers to worship one God.
You're my favorite lunch lady.
And no one else. So this begins to make the Roman people no longer view their emperor as divine and more or less just another person in charge. With the emperor no longer viewed as divine, the people began to question his authority and actions. With Christianity becoming more and more popular, the religious leaders like the Pope and other church elders took an increased role in political affairs. This only made running the empire more difficult because there was more people voicing their opinions instead of one supreme ruler. Further problems developed from Christianity when Emperor Constantine split the Roman Empire into two parts. The western half was located in Rome. It spoke Latin and practiced Roman Catholicism. The eastern half was located in Constantinople, a city Constantine named after himself. The Eastern Empire spoke Greek and practiced Eastern Orthodox Christianity. The western half would eventually fall, while the eastern half would go on to thrive for hundreds of years after. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for tuning into part one of our three-part series, What Destroyed the Roman Empire. Tune in later for part two, Economic Distress.
Hi there, I'm Bargain Bob of Bargain Bob's Bible Sales House, and today we have our best worker, Ryan Patterson, here to tell you about our Holy Bible for the growing need of Christianity in Rome. Ryan?
Thanks. This is a Bible. Tell us what's good stuff in it. Great stories. Yeah.
Now, Ryan, I believe this is a Christian Bible. Am I correct when I say this?
Yeah. It's a King James version.
King James version. I met King James once. Very nice fellow. Very nice fellow.
It's easy to read.
Easy to read.
Self-pronouncing type. Great stuff.
So come on down to Bargain Bob's Bible Sales House. You'll get a good deal on a Bible. Good evening, Rome. I am Noah Richard, and thank you for tuning in to CNN's three-part series, What Destroyed the Roman Empire. You're tuning in for the second series, Economic Distress. As with any great empire, Rome has its problems, and one of the more significant ones is economic distress. Our empire's economic problems stem back hundreds of years with many different causes. With the empire fighting many wars, there was a significant amount of money spent to fund it. To get the funds for the wars, the people of the empire would have been heavily taxed. These taxes would have more heavily fallen upon the poor class. And with that, the taxation of the poor class, the gap between the rich and the poor would widen increasingly. As the empire expanded and took in new territories, they had to spend more and more money to maintain the empire and keep it the current size, which lightened imperial coffers because they had to take that money out of people's pockets as well as Rome's store and use it. Many Roman inhabitants didn't share in the prosperity of Rome. The amount of gold sent to the Orient to pay for the luxury goods of Rome led to a shortage of gold to make coins. So because currency was devalued, people had to go back to bartering. That sucked. After Constantine's many reforms, Rome began to substitute collecting taxes and paying salaries in gold. These taxpayers had to buy these gold coins in order to pay taxes, and as many couldn't afford to, they would lose their homes and lands, which would lead to a shortage of supplies and products for Rome. With Rome able to keep on conquering and taking other lands, they would be able to use these conquered people as their slaves. Eventually, it came to the point where a Roman economy depended on the sale of slaves. With Roman expansion coming to an end in the 2nd century, this supply of slaves would dry up and economy would take a huge hit. With the expansion coming to a stop, many other war treasures would dry up as well. Throughout mankind's existence, we have also seen cases of thievery. With Rome being on the Mediterranean Sea, it would see its fair share of thieves, especially pirates. When the Vandals took over control of North Africa, they began to shoot out into the Mediterranean, stealing other people's goods from their ships. The Vandals attacked the Romans numerous times, weakening our economy. Well, that's all for now. CNN would like to thank you for tuning in, and we advise you to watch later the 3rd and final installment of our 3-part miniseries, What Destroyed the Roman Empire, this part entitled, You're Dead from the Lead. Thank you for tuning in. Hi there, I'm Billy Banker, Roman banker, and I'm here to apologize to the Roman people because when I stepped into this job, I was given this book entitled Economics Principles and Practices. During my reign, I have not used this book at all. This book tells about good markets to buy in. I use slavery, but the first problem with that is when we stopped expanding our empire, we ran out of slaves, so the economic failed. I did not advise the military to deal with the Vandals who were stealing our pirate ships and using them to use our goods. So for that, I am sorry. I am stepping down from office, and I am going to make sure that the next man does this Economics Principles and Practices book. Now, on a brighter note, some of you are doing a good job paying your gold, and for those of you that haven't and have lost your lands, I am truly sorry, but kind of not, because I'm still fine. Now, the Roman economy will get better. I hope it does, but for my sake, it's alright. But yours, it will get better, because economics' principles and practice will be used. I assure you, this book will be used. I'm Billy Banker. Thank you. We're getting enough for now. Hi there, I'm Banker Billy, stepping in for Billy Banker. And in his place, he messed up. He did not say these economics Principles and Practices book. I am not going to run this economy, so instead I am going to sell you these books to run your own economy. Rome, we can dig ourselves out of this ditch. We just need a little help, and it's right here. It's about $15, but for the poorer class it's going to be a little bit more than that. We really like taking your land, and we want you to have these books so you know where you messed up and not us. Thank you.
Good evening, Rome. Billy here. I welcome you to the final episode of a 3-part miniseries, What Destroyed the Roman Empire. This episode is entitled, You're Dead from the Lead. Our great empire will be known many centuries from now for great advances with technology. One of the more important advances, the invention of aqueducts. The aqueducts are an artificial way to transport water from one place to another. Ours are typically bridges. The tap water provided to you from the empire comes from these aqueducts. Ladies and gentlemen, these aqueducts are one of the biggest causes of lead poisoning. The tap water from these aqueducts was tested and found to contain 100 times more lead than local spring water. So we here at CNN advise you to go find a spring and collect water this way, the safer way. These complex plumbing systems gave officials control over the distribution of water around the city. It wasn't common for locals to punch holes in these pipes to draw water off to other sources, which increased the number of people exposed to lead. It would be later found out that the major lead contamination came from the supply pipes, which exposed other sources to the lead. On a happier note, researchers in France have come to find that the lead levels in drinking water were a concern, but probably insufficient to cause widespread mental problems. Instead, it just kills you. And on one last note, you people need to stop putting lead acetate, or more commonly known, sugar of lead, into your food and wines to make them sweeter. This is extremely bad because you're directly ingesting lead that will wreck your insides. We also advise you to check your dishes, cosmetics, coins, and paints, as these also contain very big source of lead. So thank you for tuning into CNN 3-part miniseries, What Destroyed the Roman Empire. We advise you to tune in next week for the Gladiator Showdown.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Noah Richard here from CNN, Coliseum News Network. And here today is Ryan Patterson, a Rome pipe worker, who's going to tell us some problems about our lead pipes. Ryan?
So, lead mixture pipe. That's lead.
How long have you been collecting this lead?
I don't know, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks pretty corrosive for people to see.
Yeah.
Just think, ladies and gentlemen, this is what's inside your digestive tracts right now.
Yeah, that's
You're going to
good.
die. Now, Ryan, I believe you have a dirty pipe to show us that comes from the lead.
Yep. That's a lead pipe.
Lead pipe. That does not look very good, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what all your water goes through.
And there's a nice collection of lead right at the bottom too. If you look at that.
Yeah.
Do not eat the lead. Thank you.